Welcome to the show, What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? The show is about survival, perseverance, and redemption.
Hello. Thank you for tuning in to What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? I am LaShonti.
And I am Balinda. Thank you.
And I think the topic of today is, what was it, Mom?
How do you deal with the death of a loved one? We're coming into, this is Memorial Day weekend, and we know a lot of people is going to be respecting and visiting the gravesite or wherever their loved one is to put flowers and say a prayer. So that's what we will be discussing. How do you deal with grief and the loss of a loved one?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard. It's hard. Once you lost a loved one, you will never be the same. Because you're going to always have this loved one in your mind. You think about birthdays and things that they did,
Right.
how they loved.
Right.
And so we know that we need to heal. I mean, I've lost a sister that's been 24 years ago. And I think about her every day. Her name was Cookie, and she was an amazing person. And rest in peace, my little sister. But yeah, she's missed. She's missed. I lost my mom 9 years ago. And matter of fact, I had a cousin, I lost her last year. Her birthday would have been yesterday. And we were so close. And I miss her. I miss her. But we did a lot of things together. And she was an amazing person. And I miss her so much. And so I just think about the positive things that we did together. Lots of memories. There was no regret saying I wish, woulda, coulda, woulda. And because that ain't gonna help.
Wish, woulda, coulda, woulda?
Yeah.
Wished? Right.
Yeah. Woulda, coulda, shoulda,
Right.
or whatever.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
happens a lot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That happens a lot. I've been to so many services, funerals where people, you know, they get up and start crying, saying, I wish I would have did this. We was arguing. I hadn't talked to him in years. But now, I mean,
Right.
it's too late. God gives us opportunities to get it right. But we just stay stuck in whatever, you know, whatever mode. So that's what we want to discuss today,
Right.
is the loss of a loved one. Things that you can do to heal, help heal.
And then, okay, so when we talk about the loss of a loved one, when you say the loss of a loved one, the grieving, and I haven't looked up exactly how it goes as far as the grieving process goes, but how do you feel when it comes to you losing someone, and then the pictures, and then the music, and then I know there's times when you've seen people, because on Cookie, you and on Cookie look a lot alike.
Yes, yes.
And so I know that even by us growing up here in Portland, Oregon, people have thought that you was on Cookie.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so dealing with death of a loved one, some people say that there's only a certain period of time. There's only supposed to be a length of time that you should grieve, and then you move on.
Yeah. But my opinion, there's no limit
Right.
to how long a person grieves over their loved one.
Right.
I mean, there's no limit. It just depends on how you move that energy.
Right.
You know, so there's no time limit on the time that it should take to get over the loss of a loved one, because I believe it's a lifelong hurt pain and missing that person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, that's just the way it is. And so as long as we do what we can while we're still here, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. Matter of fact, the next second or minute is not promised to us. So while we're still here breathing, and we just need to focus our energy on things that's really going to matter in the end. And so I know when you lost one of your best friends, Rhonda.
Rest in peace, Rhonda Janelle Meldon.
Yes, Rhonda. And you were asking me, Mom, what should I do? I said, if you have an opportunity to go see her today, do it. Because if you don't, you will regret it. You will regret it. So how do you feel about the suggestion or the knowledge that I gave you about how important it is? Don't put off tomorrow. Say, I'm going to do it tomorrow, because tomorrow may not ever come.
Exactly. And what I learned when you said that to me, I had to let it digest a little bit, because that was me now going down this journey with one of my best friends that has been diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I'm now going to visually see her. And then now this is a journey that me and her family and her other loved ones as well are going to travel down with her. And so I could have said, because my thought was, I don't know if I want to see her like this. I don't know if I want to see her like this, and how am I? So my brain was traveling 1,000 miles per minute. And when you said, if you do not go and see her, you're going to feel bad, you're going to feel guilty.
Yes. Man.
I'm happy that I was able to go down that journey with Rhonda and spend time with her and to see her. Since you've said that to me, I've experienced losing other people to suicide. Rest in peace, Tiffany Young. Rest in peace, Tiny. Gianna Lavelle. So when you say, how do you deal with the emotions that you will experience when someone has left this earth, and you're not going to ever be able to hug them or ever be able to sit and have a conversation with them and share whatever favorite beverage or whatever meal, it is tough. I love that idea that you said about having a grieving blanket.
Yes.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I love the fact that to be able to gather their shirts or something, some type of material article, and it to be a blanket.
Yes.
And have that. I think having a grieving blanket, I think is good. I think that was a really good idea, Mom.
Man.
I do.
Yes. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're just trying to find ways to help people heal in this process. Because, I mean, it's like losing a part of your body. Seriously.
Yep.
It feels like losing an arm or a leg or something. Once that person is gone, you don't feel whole again. You don't feel whole.
Right.
It's like something is missing, but you have good thoughts. I mean, I have good thoughts. I think about my mother, my siblings every day, the people that's gone.
Right.
I think about them every day of my life.
Right.
But I know it's good thoughts.
Right.
We did a lot of things together, and everything that I did together, there's no regret. And I'm so thankful that my daughter, my son, and I was able to take care of my mother. She suffered from Alzheimer's for 7 years. But my beautiful daughter and my son, they took really good care of my mom. I helped sometime because I was working outside the home. But my daughter, I asked her, because I would go to the nursing home to visit my mom. And since she had Alzheimer's, they had something on her ankle, so if she went close to the door would lock. She wouldn't be able to get out. And I would just feel so bad when I would leave that nursing home and see her standing at the door like a child in a nursery, when you would leave your children at the nursery or whatever, or at the babysitter when you had to go to work. But it was just unbearable for me to see my mother standing there wondering, why isn't she able to come home? So that hurt. She wasn't there very long, and I asked my daughter, I said, daughter, can you help take care of my mom? Because seeing her in this nursing home, it was so hurtful. I just couldn't deal with it. Because the way I look at it, our parents bring us into this world. I mean, they sacrifice a lot.
Right.
Bringing their children into the world. They give up a lot. They have to, stay up when the child is up all night, changing diapers and doing all this. But it seems as if once your parent reverts back to a child,
right,
the family don't have time. A lot of them.
I got you.
They place them in nursing homes. And sometimes they visit, sometimes they don't.
But then again, not saying that nursing homes are necessarily bad, but considering that you and I have worked in them, we're speaking from experience that we know that sometimes people get busy, and when their family is there, they are living around a bunch of strangers.
Yes, you're right.
They're living around a bunch of strangers, people that they are not familiar to. So it's a little scary, it's a little lonely for them.
So I'm just so thankful. That was a beautiful experience. My daughter taking care of my mom, but she had Alzheimer's. She didn't know who I was. I mean, that Alzheimer's, that's a very, very tough disease, especially when you don't recognize or do not know who your family members are. But my mom, actually, she knew who my daughter was and who my son was. Because when I would come and visit her, I would go in her room and she would look like she was afraid. And I'm like, Mom, this is Balinda. She still didn't recognize me. So here come my daughter. She was like, Mom, she's okay. She's okay. And she, that was amazing. But I just remember her transition. That transition, like 2 weeks before she went to sleep and went to be with the Lord. It was just an amazing experience. I remember she went into a coma, but she was asleep for the last 2 weeks of her life. And it was just so many things that happened throughout then. I remember some birds. What kind of birds was that came and flew in the yard right by the window of the bedroom where she was?
Was it doves?
No, it wasn't doves. It was birds. They turned different colors. They were black, but they would turn different colors. And I can't remember the name of the birds, but there were 2 birds that would come and sit down by the window where she was.
Okay.
And then I remember this one distinctly. I was at the grocery store shopping. And when I parked my car, when I got out of my car, there was a little bird standing right by my driver's door.
Really?
Yes. He would not move. He stood right by my driver's door. And I was like, wow, I've never had this experience before. He stayed there. He stayed there. And when I came outside to get in my car, he was still there by my driver's door. And I'm like, wow, is this a message? And it was the same type of bird that was at the window at the house. But it was only one.
That was a message.
And I was like, wow.
I was just about to ask you, was it the same bird that you saw on the ledge with
Yes,
Grandma?
it was the same type of bird. I can't remember the name of the bird, but it was beautiful. It was black, and then the feathers and stuff was iridescent, like blue and gold, and yeah, that was an experience. But then I remember when my mom passed. When my mom passed, because they didn't give her very much time to live after they diagnosed her back in December. And so I remember that I came to the house that night, and she was still, resting. And I said, okay, let me make some popcorn. My daughter was sitting in her room with her friend, and they were talking. Do you remember what happened? Do you want to talk about it? That was amazing.
Okay, so you gotta remind me. You gotta kind of catch me up to speed.
Okay, so what I was doing, Shante was in her room with her friend. You guys were talking. I was in and out of Mom's bedroom, and I was making popcorn. I was making some popcorn for you, and so then I went back into the room and stood there with my mom, and she took her last breath. She took her last breath.
Was Grandma's eyes open?
No, she was sleeping, but she took her last breath. It went out.
You heard it?
Yeah, I heard it. I saw it. It went out, and I was like, okay, now how am I going to present this to my children? You were back there having a good time with your friend. Your brother was in the living room. And I said, so I just continued to make the popcorn. I put it in the bowl, put the salt and butter on it, and I took it to the room, and you were continually talking with your friend, and I offered you the popcorn and everything. And then there came a time where I was able to break the news to you and your brother. You remember?
And then I remember that when you said, my mom was gone.
Yeah.
And then I said, what? And you said, my mom is gone. And I was like, Mom, are you sure? Mom, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then I remember that's when I went into the room, and I was looking at her, and then I was putting my ear to her mouth so I could make sure I didn't hear her breathing still. And then I was looking at her chest, because I remember the doctors were saying like the respiratory, how it goes up and how it goes down. I was looking at her chest to make sure that there was not just like a long breath that she was taking, and she hadn't just, it was a long breath that she hadn't taken, and she was still breathing. And so I remember I went into a panic of me and Muhammad were like, well, how do you know for sure? And let's make sure, and let's make sure. And we was just grandma. That whole experience of having somebody that you've had all your life.
Yes.
And you're used to seeing them, and just in your mind, you're just expecting to always be able to see them. You don't think about what if one day I don't see them anymore.
Yes.
You don't think about that. And so seeing Grandma laying there and she wasn't breathing. I remember I was like, Mom, we gotta call the doctor and make sure they come over here with the telescope, just so they can make sure that Grandma has passed away.
Yeah, I checked her pulse. I made sure. I checked her pulse, right here. Before I went to tell you, I said, I'm gonna make sure, she's gone before I go out there to say anything to you guys. I just wanted to make sure. But I knew that was gonna be tough. That was gonna be tough. And the beautiful part about it was the day that she died, it was like 1:38, I remember specifically, 1:38 a.m. It was on a Monday morning. And that Monday morning, that was Martin Luther King holiday. That was a holiday. It was a holiday off. And I often thought about my mother, how Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, when he made I Have a Dream speech, that one day my children we'd be able to live in, you know, peace and harmony, and it wouldn't matter what color of the skin, you know, just live in harmony.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought about my mom. That was her belief.
Right.
She did not distinguish people by the color of their skin. She said, we're all children of God. And that's why she made the conscious decision to give her son's heart to someone that was given a short period of time. And she loved the human race.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very, very good memories of my mom. And yeah, she's missed. She's missed by so many people. And so it's, you know, it's sad that she's gone. We don't see her anymore, but she talks to us. She lives in our spirit. She's in, you know, she's in our mind. She
Mm-hmm.
left a very nice impression on all of us. Yes.
So when you pose the question, how do you handle the passing or the death of someone, and just that word in itself just makes it feel so I'm still dealing with the sadness of me missing my grandma.
Yes.
I'm still dealing with the sadness of missing grandma. I'm still dealing with the sadness of missing, I mean, there's a list of people that I have lost to death, to murder, to suicide, to natural causes. And so today, I don't have a remedy for that. I miss my dad like crazy. So I don't have a remedy for anybody that has lost anybody. I don't have a remedy. I don't know how to necessarily move on. I just know that it's okay to still talk about the people that you have lost as they are in the present.
Yes.
And it's okay to have moments where you have gatherings and everybody has like that day where they talk about, they laugh about all of the things and they just cry about all of the things. Those type of things are special to be able to do that.
Yes.
Because when you feel bad, it's unnecessary to feel bad. It's unnecessary to, I still shouldn't be sad because so-and-so is gone. Those are unnecessary feelings. It's okay.
Yes.
To feel when a song comes on or something comes on, that thought or a tear might come down because of the fact you miss these people that you physically no longer are going to have that companionship with them. So yes, we're going to be doing this all together. We're going to be doing this all together, learning all together, and we're going to be speaking, and we're going to be talking, and we're going to be eating, and we're going to be sharing a lot of different stories. So that is one way, most definitely, to be able to learn or to be able to understand and be able to grow with the loss of people that we love.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And for my brother and my mom, what we do, and my sister, I just thought about that. My sister, her name was Lorraine Marie Olive, but her nickname was Cookie.
Cookie.
Her nickname was Cookie, and she made some dangerous peanut butter cookies. I mean, oh my God, she was a good cook, but her peanut butter cookies was amazing. So what I do on her anniversary date, when she passed, I make peanut butter cookies, send them to family members in memory of my sister. You know, just doing things like that, you know, remembering this person, having a special day to talk about them, things that you remember is so important.
Right.
And with my brother, Bobby, when we have his events during Black History Month, what we do, we cook one of his favorite meals that he wanted to serve it to everybody. I mean, the last one we had, oh my God, it was so good. Because we fried some chicken, made the mac and cheese, made cornbread, red beans and rice, you know, dessert, banana pudding, peach cobbler. We just had a nice spread, but that's what we do in memory of my brother.
Right.
Because he ate good food.
Right.
We ate good
We
food.
ate good food.
Yeah, we
Right.
ate good food.
Right. We ate
Yes,
good food.
yeah, we ate good food.
We
So we
did.
just celebrate through a meal and talk about, you know, the things that he enjoyed doing and the things that we enjoy doing, and it just makes you happy because you're bringing his spirit into the room with us.
Right.
So there's so many things that you can do to help you remember your loved one, you know, and just, I mean, it's just an amazing experience.
It is.
Yes. And so I would like to share this poem that I wrote. I'm a poet and I know it. And
You're a poet. You're a poet and you know it.
I'm a poet and I know it.
Okay.
But
Somebody told you that?
I didn't nobody have to tell me.
Oh, you
God already told me that.
Okay.
And so I didn't need to listen to what somebody else had to say because that's why I said I'm a poet and I know it.
Okay.
And when you know something, you know it.
No, when you know it individually.
Yeah.
Okay.
When
I like that.
When you know something, you know it.
Okay.
So I was part of this writing group with Right Around Portland, and I write poetry and I love it. But I thought about the loss of our loved ones. So I wrote this poem. It's entitled, "It's Okay to Cry Like a Baby."
Oh.
It's
And in the
okay.
name of the book that is in?
The
Draw
name
the
of the
Outside?
book is Draw the Outside. This was their
Nice.
50-year anniversary or whatever. I'm not sure what the 50 stands for, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm a part of this book.
Okay.
So I wrote this poem, "It's Okay to Cry Like a Baby." Sometimes it's hard to laugh if you are not happy. Once upon a time, I was so sad, but I wasn't mad that I've lost my loved ones. But there is no coming back. That's a reality check. They are gone from this earth. The grief is hard to describe. It comes from nowhere. All of a sudden, the tears just keep coming. They cannot stop. They keep flowing down my cheeks. The tears help wash your soul. The tears can help soothe our inner pain. The tears is like water to the soul. It's okay to cry like a baby. That is an emotion we were born with. I feel so much better when I shed tears. My body, mind, and spirit feels like it has been cleansed. Try it. It's okay to cry like a baby. Because when you cry like a baby, you know a baby, they gonna holler.
Yeah.
They gonna holler when they want something. But those tears, I mean, when you think about the tears that's coming out of your body, it's coming out. And the water, it just flows. It cleans you inside and out. I mean, you feel so much better.
You feel
Let it go. Yeah.
So
just
it's
let
okay
it
to
go.
cry.
It's okay.
That don't mean you're weak.
That don't mean you're weak, because it's help. God gave us these tears, this water that's inside of us.
Okay.
We're supposed to use it when we need it.
Okay.
So the tears, don't hold them back. Don't hold back.
Okay.
Because it's okay. That's why God gave us these tears, to help soothe our inner being.
I mean, like I said, I know that I am still processing the things, the people that I've lost.
Yeah.
And so I'm still processing that. And so this show, this podcast, actually is helping that, to be able to speak about the things that are internally inside of me that bothers me or hurts me. And one of those pains are dealing with the loss of a loved one.
Yes.
And when that pain has come from when another individual has taken that loved one from me, you got to go through the process of forgiving and moving on from that pain, on top of you missing that person
Yes.
that you're no longer able.
Yeah.
So I can say that speaking about them, their spirits are still here. Their
Yes.
physical bodies are not here, but their spirits are still here.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you for listening or watching What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? And I just hope and pray that you have a good rest of your day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to shed some light on such a touching subject, because it is hard when you lose a loved one that you love so dearly.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in. Positive thoughts, positive thoughts.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, What is a Little Girl Supposed to Do? Until next time.